Hassan Rouhani was elected in June with a mandate to fix the economy and with the clearly articulated, explicit understanding that to do so, he would actually have to tackle the nuclear issue and find some kind of a resolution with the international community to the standoff that has lasted now well over a decade. He has a considerable amount of running room to do that. He was able to put together, I think, a sort of top-flight cabinet, not just Foreign Minister Zarif, who is probably well known to all of you in the audience from his time as the UN permanent representative representing Iran in New York, but also an array of officials at the working level in the foreign ministry and also officials managing the economy who really understand the mandate and the brief. He has come to these officials have come to the table in Geneva in, I think, a very serious way, have engaged in what are the first substantive negotiations on the nuclear issue, and have made clear that they see not just the threat of hardline opposition as a time constraint, but also the expectations of a population who came out in far larger numbers to vote for Rouhani than many anticipated prior to the election. They recognize that Iranians are tired and frustrated and would like to see some sort of relief from the pressures. And in fact, many Iranians have articulated the sense that the simple election of Rouhani, some of the overtures that he's made, whether it's the Washington Post op-ed that he penned prior to the UN General Assembly, or his phone conversation with President Obama while in New York, that all of these were political risks, and in effect that Iran ought to be rewarded preemptively with some kind of sanctions relief. I don't think anything like that is on offer, but I think that clearly the Iranians want to make progress quickly. They want to see tangible results and compensation. This has been a sort of clear theme throughout the decade-long nuclear negotiations, that they're not willing to give away something in exchange for nothing. Rouhani himself, the president now, was the nuclear negotiator at the outset of this crisis, and in fact was responsible for negotiating the one significant concession on Iran's nuclear program, suspension of its uranium enrichment, which lasted from 2003 until shortly after the election of Mahmoud Ahmadinejad in 2005. And for the next 8 years, Rouhani was the subject of intense internal criticism coming from hardliners, but extending all the way up to Iran's ultimate authority, its supreme leader. That criticism is really just beneath the surface. And so while I think that there is a kind of theater in the sense that Zarif is pushing the domestic political argument that we have to help Rouhani, I think it's quite clear that there is a limit to the patience of the Iranian establishment, and that in fact Rouhani needs to deliver. He needs to be seen as having achieved something for his own people in exchange for any concessions that he may appear to be making at the bargaining table. And that is the real pressure that's on him, and it needs to be delivered soon.